On the comfy couch, Deputy Mayor John Hines. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Amanda.
Okay, so let's talk about this Thanksgiving, because I'm going to be asking you some really hard, down and dirty budget questions like white meat or dark meat?
Ooh, white meat.
White meat. Stuffing or mashed potatoes?
Stuffing.
Okay, and one last big one here. Gravy or cranberries?
Gravy.
You are my kind of man.
Yeah.
This is why you are just the perfect deputy mayor. Let's talk about, for people who don't know, you were born and raised in Tacoma. What is it like growing up here, and what did you love about being a kid in Tacoma? And then lastly, how has the city changed?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oof.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, I'm just lucky enough to be born in the best place in the world.
Yeah, you are.
I've loved growing up here in Tacoma. It's a city that is big enough that you have lots of really cool things to do. So you had museums, you had parks, you had kind of a big city feel, but also small enough that you could really build relationships and get to know people.
Yes.
I have friends who come and I'll walk around and I'll meet with people, and I joke like, well, if you just never leave this place, you just kind of know everybody in the end.
You do.
So that's what I've always really loved. And even as Tacoma's grown, there's still kind of that big city vibe with a bit of a small town community feel. It's just really good. And so the city's changed quite a bit since I was a kid. I mean, it's grown. I think I always tell people that I have this distinct memory in my mind from about 1990 where, remember Evening Magazine?
Oh, yeah.
They used to rank the best of cities and
Yes.
stuff. And so I'm watching it one time, and I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and it said most boring city in Washington, and it was Tacoma. And I remember telling my parents, like, wow, I don't think Tacoma's boring. What are we talking about? But, I mean, if I look back in like the late 80s, early 90s, it was pretty sleepy, and it's not that way anymore.
No,
there's amazing restaurants, there's amazing businesses and things to do. We've got new museums, new things to do across our community. Neighborhoods are taking off, and lots of things are happening in them. So it still keeps a lot of the stuff we love about the city while kind of just having more energy and more exciting things to do.
Well, to take a page out of where you sit every Tuesday, former Mayor Bill Barzima coined the phrase, the city of destinations, because we truly are. You are currently residing, as I said in the opening, as Tacoma's deputy mayor, as well as representative for District 1, if that wasn't enough to keep you busy. Tell us a bit about being deputy mayor. What have you enjoyed the most about it?
It's been great. I think, so I grew up in the south end of the state of Tacoma. I went to Lincoln High School, so it's been great. As being a district council member of District 1, which is the north end and west end, I spent a lot of my time there. So being the deputy mayor has been great to kind of get out and do more things. The mayor has a really busy schedule, as you know, and she can't go to everything. And so I step in often and go to different events. I joke that I've cut a lot of ribbons on juice bars here in the city. But I get to go see more parts of the city in kind of an official role, and that's been really good. It's something I've really enjoyed about that. And, just seeing more of the city I love and being able to have that role. And we talk about our meetings, when the mayor's not there, I often step in and run the meetings, which gives me a whole new appreciation of all the hard work she does and managing that operation. But it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it. I will be done here at the end of the year. We'll transition to a new deputy mayor, but I've really loved it.
I love that. But you'll still be representing District 1.
Correct.
Good, because you're not going anywhere.
Nope.
We will not let you go anywhere. Speaking of getting around Tacoma when Mayor Woodards cannot, this summer you spent a week walking across Tacoma. You are our own Forrest Gump here. I'm just going to put that out there. You covered 200,000 steps in almost 70 miles, not in those shoes.
No.
What motivated you to do this, and then what did you learn? What did you see? What surprised you?
So, interesting story. There's a senator in Connecticut named Chris Murphy, and he does a walk across Connecticut every year. And he just picks it. I guess Connecticut's a lot smaller than Washington.
Yeah.
And each year he just walks across the city, and his whole with that is he doesn't carry anything with him. So if he needs to get food, he stops in restaurants. If he needs a bottle of water, he goes into a local store. And he just uses it as a chance to get out and just talk to people and see what they care about. And so I thought it sounded like a great idea. So I actually had an idea of like, well, maybe I'll just walk across District 1 because it's my council district.
Yeah.
But I'm a pretty active runner, or I was. And I was basically like, well, that doesn't seem like that's going to be enough. And so I'm the deputy mayor this year. I was like, I'm going to walk across the whole city. So I mapped out a route and started at Point Defiance and wandered all the way through, got to all the neighborhoods here in the city from Point Defiance to Ticklow.
Here you are, yeah.
Yeah. Talked to residents along the way. It was really great. We publicized it, and so people emailed me along the way, and they're like, hey, can we join you and walk with you for part of it?
Yeah.
So I had different people join me all across the city and walk with me. It was really kind of a nice informal conversation about what they care about. I think what it reminded me of, Amanda, is a lot of the issues that people really care about are the ones that are really close to home, right? You know, what they want to talk about was maybe not these big national issues, but they want to talk about the street that was unsafe to cross, or
potholes,
or they were concerned, senior services, or they were concerned about parks and access to parks, local businesses. They wanted to, you know, how are we kind of managing crime and property crime in our city? And, you know, it was really good just to hear people talk about it. And, you know, it really lowers the temperature when you're out walking with people.
Yeah, it does.
And so people don't really get angry when you're out walking. You just kind of walk alongside. And I had a lot of really good conversations with people and saw a lot of the city. And you really see more when you slow down and walk.
Yeah,
so
you do.
I'd recommend anybody doing it.
So we have less than 2 minutes, and I've got so much more to talk with you about, but let's talk about that senior summit.
Yeah.
Because it's been in the paper about some of the senior services connected to some of our local parks and recreations. Why is this event important to you, and what are you hoping to accomplish with this?
Yeah, so one thing I've noticed, and I'm a teacher, so children have always been my passion. I have small kids. But our council is very focused on young people. The mayor has our youth commission, and many councilors are. But I have noticed that we don't have a lot of conversations about seniors in our community. No. And I think if you think about building a city for young people, you have to think about building a city for people as they age, right? Because that's the way you build a city for everyone. And so Lillian Hunter did this age-friendly city action plan before she left council in 2021. And I told her when she left, like, oh, no, don't worry, I'll continue to keep an eye on this. So we're bringing back the Age-Friendly City Action Plan just to kind of re-look at it. And the Senior Summit is an opportunity for seniors to come in and say, here's what we laid out in 2021. Is this still what we need to do? Are there other things we should be considering? And just thinking about how we can make our city more age-friendly.
Oh, I love that. The Proctor Neighborhood Plan wrapped up earlier this year, and you were the council leader for the project. Tell us about how it went and how is it going to shape that neighborhood?
Well, it's a great question. So one of the reason we started the neighborhood planning program was the city is changing.
Oh boy,
and that is a good thing, right? We want to be a place that people want to live in and grow, and it's dynamic. But there are things we really value about our city that's currently here. And so what we want to make sure is the neighborhood plan was this idea of, well, what do we really love about Proctor?
Right.
What do we find value makes it special?
So many things.
So we don't lose that as we grow and change. So that was the main outcome we were trying to get out of the neighborhood planning process, was to get neighbors to really clearly articulate, well, what do you love about here? And what are you okay with changing? Because if your idea is that it can never change, well, that's not going to happen. So how do we make sure we don't lose what we find special as we kind of grow and change into the city we want to be?
I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you for being here today, taking time away from your family on this Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have you back on the couch sooner than later, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, man. I'm happy to come back.
I love that. We have much more to come on this Thanksgiving edition of Cityline. Don't go away. We'll be right back.